Hello, my name is Dave Mahalik. I'm an engineer here at Fort Defiance Industries. We're talking about the P2131 automated field steam sterilizer. In this video, we're specifically talking about the water softener, and we're going to just show you the steps on how to regenerate it. So after you've been using the water softener for a period of time, if you're doing those little water hardness tests periodically, and you notice that the water is starting to get kind of hard and the water softener is not doing its job, you're going to have to regenerate it. So these are capable of being regenerated, so you can continue to reuse this for years to come. And what's actually going on in there is there's all these little beads that are charged, and as the calcium magnesium flows through it, the charge on those beads attracts those particles to the beads and does not allow them to flow through into the sterilizer main unit. And remember, that's very important to keep the calcium magnesium out of the sterilizer main unit, because it will start to build up on the heater elements, calcify, kind of will actually damage a lot of valves and all that stuff. They'll just wear out quicker. So it's good to keep your water softener regenerated. So we're going to go over the steps real quick on how to do that. So first, you're going to connect your hose to the outlet side, and you're going to do a 5-minute flush. You can open the hose all the way, full pressure, full pressurized water source. You're going to back flush this for 5 minutes. Then at the end of that, you're going to turn off your water. You're going to flip the hose back to the inlet, and now we're going to take our cap off. So it's pretty tight. Remember, you can follow along in the technical manual. This procedure is fully outlined in that. So you're going to need 3 1/4 pounds of salt to pour in here. And the salt, since the salt has a charge, it's going to recharge all the particles here in all the beads in the water softener. So, again, once you recharge those, it'll continue to attract the calcium magnesium. You're going to want to use some paper towels to really kind of dry everything off. You can kind of take this little filter out, you can dry it off. But if anything's kind of wet there, when you pour the salt in, it's going to stick to it. So go ahead and dry it off as best you can. There, you can kind of see that if that's wet, it's just going to gunk up and salt up. So we're going to pour the salt right there. You're going to want to use just normal salt, not iodized, and then 3 1/4 pounds. Each one of these is a pound, so you're going to need 3 of these, and then 1/4 of the last one. So we're going to pour it in there, and then after you do that, you're going to want to make sure you wipe any salt that's spilled off, otherwise it's going to kind of start to corrode your brass fittings. So make sure you wipe all the salt off, and then you're going to reinstall your filter here. Reinstall your cap once you get all the salt off, any of the fittings, any of the threads here. Install your cap, tighten it down. Okay, now what you're going to do is you're going to do a 30-minute slow flow to kind of work that salt through all the beads. So we're still connected here on the inlet. You're going to want to dial back your spigot, your pressurized water source, around maybe 1/4 gallon a minute. It's going to be pretty slow. If I was doing this right now, just basically a trickle. You really want it to be trickling pretty slow there. So at this slow flow rate, we're going to do that for 30 minutes. And after 30 minutes, you can go ahead and turn the water all the way on and do a 5-minute flush. And that's just to kind of completely work the rest of the salt out. At this point, all the beads will be recharged. So now you're just trying to get the salt out. At the end of that 5-minute flush, you're going to want to do a little taste test. just to make sure all the salt's worked through. You really don't want any salt to stay in because we don't want that salt getting in the chamber, on the aluminum and stuff. So make sure you do that taste test. You can also do the water hardness test again to make sure that you have, regenerated the unit. So we supply some of the strips in the sterilizer accessory bag so that you can test the hardness. So you're going to want to do that at the end of the test just to make sure that it actually did indeed regenerate it. But again, really crucial to make sure you do the taste test to make sure the salt is worked through. So after you're done with that, you can remove the hose. You can reinstall the normal cam lock and groove fitting on the outlet, and you'll be back and ready for use with the sterilizer main unit. If you have any questions on this procedure, you can reference the technical manual. You can give us a call, shoot us an email at any time. And and I think that's it for the regeneration of the water softener.